Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome to the first video of crocheting. I will not be doing any tutorials. I don't have a name for the crochet yet. I don't know what I want to call it, considering YouTube has enacted some things for everyone's purpose of protection. So I don't want to be offensive to anyone. Just if you have more suggestions, write them down. But I think I may just call it let's get hooking with crochet or something like that, because that's what you do, you hook with crochet. Anyway, today I will not be going over everything that we'll be doing when it comes to crocheting, because I didn't grab all the stuff I needed. My little one's asleep, so I didn't want to wake him up because it's fairly early in the morning. Anyway, this right here is Loops and Thread. It's a Michaels brand. I love this brand of yarn. I will go over a few things with you. This is kind of like novelty yarn because it has this fabric attached to it, but I'll show you the more traditional yarn as well. On here it tells you a lot of things. So when you're looking for yarn, if you're starting out, or say you want to just get some yarn to put into your stash, I would tell you to always go for the yarn that has more yardage. So this is 174 yards. And we're just going to use the things that we are normal to use, okay? Meaning in America. And then it just tells you a few more things about it. It tells you that it's polyester. It tells you Florence Ruffle scarf. This is ruffle yarn basically. And this is the level of difficulty. And I told you all that I'm a beginner novice, so I can do easy to beginner. Okay, these two are what I can do. I can't do intermediate and I can't do hard, but this is what we'll be doing. And right here tells you the recommended needles you're needed to knit. We're not going to be knitting, we're going to be crocheting. And here's the the number. This is the lot number and the color, because whenever you do create a project, you want to get all of the same lot number, the die lot, and that's what this is for. The next thing is the numbers, and this was made in 2014, so that was a while ago. And then right here it tells you who makes it, and I told you this is a Michael brand product, and it tells you the bulkiness of it. So you have one, I think it goes up to 10 maybe, I'm not sure about that. This stuff I don't get into too much, but if you want to, you're more than welcome to go and get a book from the library or the store, and they tell you this is what you can create if you knitted it. And then here is the crochet hook, and this is the recommended size hook. Unfortunately, I don't have my 5x5 my 5.5 hook. And then it tells you that you can wash this. Well, it says hand wash right here. You can see that, and it says don't iron it. And then it says hand wash only, because this is delicate. These loops is what you're going to be knitting or crocheting. In our case, we're going to crochet. And then this right here, Red Heart. Red Heart has been around for a long time from my understanding, and it used to be called Cloaks and Clark, or Clarks and Cloaks, and it still has that name. If you go to the Red Heart website, which I think is redheart.com, yep, redheart.com, you will see that it still says Cloaks and Clark, or Coats and Clark. See, it still says that. So that was the original name, but they changed it. This I purchased from Walmart, and it was on sale for 75 cents. This normally costs about $4, $4.40 or something like that, I believe. So whenever I see yarn on sale, even though I probably can start my own yarn store and survive a couple of months, I buy it. Especially the Red Heart with Love. This is a little bit more expensive brand of yarn than the other ones, because Red Heart has a few. And right here, I'll go over this with you again. So it tells you how many yards we're going to have, which is 180 yards. It tells you the recommended hook, which is 6 milliliters, or J10. You have to be careful when you're getting the hooks from, I bought a lot of hooks from eBay, and I believe AliExpress a couple of years ago. And some of the numbers don't match up with the letters, so be careful when you get that. And I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing today, because I didn't get all the things that I needed to get. This is one skein or one ball. Balls, in my opinion, are circular. So anyway, and then most of the time when you get yarn, it will give you a free pattern, and usually it's the pattern that you see on here, which I believe are these mittens, these little gloves, and it says Red Cross North America. So I think that some of the money that you buy with Red Heart products goes to Red Cross. And then it says that it's Echo, and this is the lot. So again, like I said, if you want to buy, or you're making something, which we're going to start off, we're going to do 2 projects today. This one we will not complete because it's going to be an ongoing project for me. I bought about 6 skeins of this. That's all I had on sale. I'm going to make a throw with it, a granny square throw, and we'll go over that shortly. And then right here, it tells you the size, which is a 4, which I think most of them are, I call them weights, the 4 weight, which is usually what I use unless I get chunky or super chunky. And even though this says that it's chunky, it's really not chunky. We'll go over that later on in the crocheting series. And see, this tells you the recommended hook, which is 6.5, even though this one says 6. And this is telling you 6 for the pattern that they want you to make. And if you did 4 inches by 4 inches and 10 centimeters, 10 by 10, that's the size hook you would need to create that project. And then here are your knitting needles, which tell you the exact same thing. And so it tells you that you can wash it. It tells you the temperature and degree. I believe this is the dryer sign. Yep, so it can say, it says machine wash and dry. It does not want you to iron it. And I don't know what this little triangle is, and I don't know what that P means either. Again, I am fairly new to learning all the signage. I only know a few things about crochet. So I'll tell you that this is how it came, all ragged looking. And see right here, this is the one thing that I don't like about yarn in general, is that once it finishes spooling on, it will tie knots, and I don't like that. Anyway, so what I've been told is that if you want to find the center of your yarn, because you have 2 centers, you have one that's going to be hanging out somewhere on the edge, and then you have one on in the inside. What you can do is squish it down and pull out. And when you pull out, you should be able to find the tip of it, which I don't think I grabbed it, or maybe I did. Okay, so here we go, and here you are. So in order to start, and this is a Susan Bates. From my understanding, this is one of the better products, and this is a plastic one. I have a problem when I crochet a lot. It starts to hurt my thumbs, because I have such a tight tension that it's a problem for me. But she's really good, and usually I get most of my hooks from Walmart or Joann Fabric, unless I go to the crochet section or the yarn section at Michael's and it's on sale. I tend to stay away from it at Hobby Lobby because it's expensive. It's more expensive, in my opinion, than any of the other places. And so you can see the different indentions, and that's your hook. And this is how you know that it's a crochet hook, not a knitting needle. Knitting needles are pointed, but they do have that thing called a nook where you knit crochet. I don't know anything about that. Anyway, what now I'm going to teach you is a slip knot. And your slip knot is just a knot that you're going to tie to make it easier to start your project. And so what I do is I just take this like this and pull this through. Okay, and now my slip knot is done. And that's really what the slip knot is. It's just so you can pull it out. A lot of people will say you can lay it down, flip it over, pull it up, and all that other stuff. This is just easier for me to do. Twist and pull. And I've tried to teach that to a few people before, and it we never came to an agreement. So again, you just twist and pull. Okay, twist and pull, twist and pull. One more time. You twist it and you pull, and you have a slip knot. All right, and so here's the slip knot that we're going to use. I'm left-handed, so I'm going to have my hook in my left hand. I'm going to hook the first portion, and then you can pull your slip knot to tighten it. And now what you want to do is, if you have a cat, your cat will become certainly more interested in what you're doing, because for some reason it's either your hand motion or the yarn itself. And I think it's the yarn, because you're going to be pulling yarn without pulling yarn. You're not going to do it on purpose. You're going to be pulling the yarn when you are pulling it out of the skein or the balls. A lot of people will take their yarn and take it off the skein, and they have a ball winder, or they manual ball winder or automatic ball winder. I usually leave mine in how it is, because Nicholas will bite my yarn, and then it upsets me. So here we go. Gonna loop over just like that, and you have your tension. So now you're gonna go one over, one over, one over. And what we're doing now is creating a chain, okay? That's all we're doing for now, is creating a chain. And that's all you have to do to crochet. It's a lot of looping and yarning over. But I don't want to create a chain blanket. I am creating a granny square. And what I just called, some people call it roaching. Is it roaching? Did they roach it? I think that's what they call it, roaching, or pulling it out. I just say I pulled it loose. So for a granny square, what I'm going to do, project is a granny square. Looks like the old lady blankets that you see people throwing on their couch. That's the best way I can explain it until I show you. So we're going to do 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now what you really need to keep in mind is how many you're going to do. So I just did 3 chains, right? Now what I'm going to create is a slip stitch, which a slip stitch, I'll show you that again. So I have the last crocheted hook, last crochet that I created, which on the last chain, and then I'm going to go into the first one, or my slip stitch, my slip knot, and then I'm going to create a slip stitch. Okay, so now I have that one, and now I'm going to go 1, 2, if I can get it together, 3. All right. So now what you want to do is, when you first start this project, you have to decide how many chains you're going to make in between your hooks. And I'll show you that one more time, okay? I said this wasn't going to be a tutorial, but I feel like I'm tutorialing it up, right? So here we go. 1, 2, 3. And this time I'm not going to stop anymore. And so I'm going to do 5, okay? 4, 5. And the reason why I want to do 5 is because it'll make my circle a little bit bigger. So now I'm going to slip stitch, and that's what we're doing, is slip stitching. And now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Whenever I create granny squares, I always do 3. And don't worry about your tail, because we're getting ready to crochet over. So now you're going to yarn over, go inside the circle itself. You don't have to worry about anything else. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, back in your circle. 1, 2, 3. All right. And then you're going to go 1, 2. So in between my 3 granny square, in between my 3 little stitches, I'm going to do 2. All right. So I've done 2. Now I'm going to go back into my circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I've done that 3 times. So you see you got 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to go 1, 2. And this will all make sense in a few minutes, okay? So just bear with me. So I'm going back in my circle. 1, 1, 2, 3. Yarn over. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, 1, 2, 3. Now, remember we're calling this a granny square, so I have 1 set, 2 set, 3 set. All right, so now what I'm going to do, again, the same thing, chain 2, 1, 1, 2. I haven't crocheted since 2015, so bear with me. Today, it's not pre-rehearsed anything. I just picked it up, and that's what we're doing. Okay, so you've yarned over. You're going to go inside your circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, it doesn't look like a square, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. 1, 2. So you chain twice. Now you see this right here. Let me see if I can't bring it closer. All right. So you've chained twice, and now you've got your 4. Your granny squares will start to look like a square shortly. Now what you're going to do is you're going to do another slip stitch, which is going to these top 2 double crochets is what they call them, and you're going to pull it through. All right, and now this is going to be your first portion of your chain. So 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to get a little bit more sophisticated. Okay, we're not going to go in the circle. We're going to go on this first double crochet again, yarn over, go through it, 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, 1, 2, 3. And now you have 3 crochets. 1, 2, 3, and you're going to double crochet, 1, 2. Now the thing that you need to make sure and you're aware of is that when you're doing your granny squares, okay, whenever you're doing your granny squares, you're going to do 3 and 2. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to go right into this loop right here, okay? And you're going to go yarn over, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Once you get your 3, you're going to go 1, 2. Okay. And so we're going to leave this project here for now. And this will always be the beginning of our, I'll show you where I am because I want to try to make a throw before the end of the year. To go in my crochet room, to go over my legs, not my crochet room, my craft room, when I finally do get to Texas. So that's what I want to do, okay? So we're going to put this to the side. Again, if you wanted to, you can rip these out. I think that's what it's called, not roach. I think it's roach or rip. You can rip these out if you don't like your project and start all over. What I will tell you is that a lot of people say they sit on their couch and do this. I cannot sit on my couch and do this. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. So that's the one project. Now with this project, I just want to show you quickly how much fun this can be. This takes me about an hour to do, and we're not going to sit on here a whole hour. I'm just going to do a few. You see how I pull this off? If you take this off completely, gingerly, I think the manufacturers want you to use these patterns, so they try to keep it well until, you know, we mishandle it and tear it up. And right here, it gives you instructions, all right, which is great. It tells you what you need. It tells you what you need. Unfortunately, these right here are more of a crochet, a knitting thing for whatever reason, and a lot of knitters are insulted when they see other knitters doing this, which I don't know why they do that, but they do. So this is English, and it tells you working along the eyelet edge of the ribbon, cast on 4 stitches. We're not casting on because that's a knitting thing. We're going to crochet it, and I'm going to show you how to do that. When I first bought this, I was like, not this one in particular, but when I bought some more, a different kind, but it's still ribbon, a ruffle ribbon, a ruffle scarf, I was like, that's so pretty. Oh my goodness. So what you do want to do is you can create a slip knot if you want to. You don't have to. Don't use the edge. You see right here it's kind of frayed. So I always go into the second one, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm kind of casting on, like they say on a knitting, but I'm crocheting. So I'm going to do 5 on, okay? And once I get to the 5th one, what I'm going to do is come and hold this piece off and pull all these over, just like that. All right? This one can be a headache, just so you know, but don't get frustrated. All right? And when you do this, you want to pay attention to how you're putting your yarn on. So I'm going under it, okay? Under, under, under. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 on. And now I'm going to go under again. I'm going to hold this one back though and pull through. All right. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to put my 6th one on, hold that one back at the edge, and go through. Now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, the chunkier your yarn is, the faster you will whip up a project. Okay, and so now you'll see that it's starting to create a ruffle. And I am dropping yarn, which always happens to me. And here we go again. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull this through. And there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, which we have 5 on there. I'll put that one on. And here you go. And that's how it's going to look. And I'm going to zoom in some if I can without doing it too much so you can see exactly what I'm doing. All right. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And on our 5th one, we're just going to pull it back and go. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull back and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull back and go. I don't have a lot of cameras. I just have one basic one that I use. So I can't do like side angles and all that. So I'm going to try my best to stay in frame. The one thing I don't like about this, for me, when I screw it up, I end up starting all over, which sucks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I put that one underneath the hook and pull through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and let's zoom back out. this is where we are so far with this, which is really pretty. You don't want to see your knots, and I think that's why a lot of knitters, well, this is more of a knitting material, because knitting is, in my opinion, is much more tighter than crocheting. And I crochet loose sometimes, and then I crochet tight. So depends on my tension and how well I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. 3, 4, 5. I have, you know, did a couple of rows before, and I got to a point I was like, oh, that looks ugly, and I've ripped it all out. So it's totally up to you. I think that I will do this for up until 30 minutes, and then we'll stop it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera and do some more rows. Okay, so here we are. This is all we have left of that skein or ball or whatever you want to call it, and this is what we have worked so far, which is turning out to be very, very pretty. I think I messed up one time. I'm not going to take it out though. I think I put 4 on 1 instead of 5. No big deal. So let's see, where are we? We are right here. Sometimes for me, my yarn starts to ravel, and that bugs me. So that's we are unraveling. I don't like to unravel yarn. And once you start doing this, this will kind of get a little bit heavy on you. This one right here. So just keep that in mind. This camera is, there we go. I don't know what's going on with it. So here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, this is very easy to do. Oh, no. Oh, no. You saw that? You saw that, right? It came apart. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Right when I was saying it's very easy to do, huh? And I was actually able to save it from having to start all over. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and come back with a finished project. Hey. Okay, everyone. I will not be coming back to show you the finished project. Excuse you. Okay. My little one is awake, and so I'm going to go ahead and put on my mommy hat and take off my crochet hat. I want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate your love and support. Mommy. Yes, sir. Hi. Hey, good morning. A cat. The cat, So, as you can see, it is coming along, and I will be probably making a few more to give to my coworkers and my little one's teacher as going away gifts when we get ready to leave. So thank you all for watching. Happy crocheting.